I am Neferet, daughter of a scribe, born in the city of Waset under the reign of Pharaoh Senusret III, when the two lands of Egypt were bound by strength and shadow. It was 1870 BCE, a time of temples rising, of gods whispering in the reeds, and of secrets buried deeper than the Nile's roots. My father taught me to read the stars, to trace the paths of Ra and Osiris, but it was my own curiosity that led me to the truth, a truth about our civilization that no scroll records, no priest dares speak. This is the story of what I found, and what it cost. Waset, which you might call Thebes, was alive then, its markets thick with the scent of myrrh and bread, its streets echoing with chants for harmonious Ra. I was 16, apprenticed to my father in the house of life, where scribes guarded knowledge like gold. My days were spent copying hymns, my nights sneaking into the library to read forbidden texts, tales of the first time, when gods walked with men, and of a power older than the pyramids. Father warned me to stop. Some truths cut, he said. I didn't listen. I never did. It began with a rumor, carried on the lips of traders from the south. They spoke of a temple, not built but found, hidden in the cliffs beyond the Valley of the Kings, older than Menes himself. The priests called it blasphemy, every sacred site was known, mapped, blessed. But I saw their eyes, nervous, darting, when the rumor spread. One night, in the library, I found a fragment, a papyrus, half-burned, tucked inside a false jar. It described a place called the Vale, where the earth speaks and the sky bends. The glyphs were strange, not our own, but older, angular, like knives. At the bottom, a warning, let no mortal pass, lest the balance shatter. I showed it to Khepri, my friend, a stonemason's apprentice with a laugh louder than the Nile's flood. He was skeptical but loyal, always ready for my schemes. A secret temple? He said, grinning. You'll get us whipped. But he came with me when I decided to search, slipping out of Waset under a crescent moon. We took a skiff across the Nile, then trekked west, following the papyrus's clues, a star alignment, a cliff shaped like a falcon's beak. The desert was cruel, sand stinging our skin, but I felt it, a pull, like a thread tied to my bones. 3 nights we searched, hiding from patrols, eating dates and flatbread. On the 4th, we found it, a crevice in the cliffs, so narrow I had to turn sideways to enter. Inside, the air was cool, heavy, and the walls gleamed, not sandstone, but something smoother, reflecting our torchlight in ripples. The tunnel sloped down, deeper than any tomb, and ended in a chamber. I'll never forget it. The room was vast, its ceiling lost in shadow, its floor a mosaic of black and gold, spiraling inward to a platform. On it stood a device, not an altar, not a statue, but a ring, 10 feet wide, carved with those knife-like glyphs, glowing faintly blue. Khepri whispered, "What is this?" I didn't know, but I stepped closer. The ring hummed, low and steady, vibrating in my chest. I touched it, and the glow flared, light pooling inside the ring like water. Images flickered, not reflections, but scenes, cities of glass, skies with 2 suns, figures tall and thin, moving like reeds in wind. My hand burned, and I pulled back, the hum fading. Khepri grabbed my arm. Neferet, this isn't ours. He was right, but I couldn't leave. Not yet. We returned to Waset, swearing silence, but the secret ate at me. I stole into the library again, cross-referencing glyphs, chasing whispers in old texts. I found a name, the Keepers of the Veil, a sect older than the Old Kingdom, tasked with guarding something, not a god, but a gift from the stars. They'd vanished, or so the scribes thought, but their mark was on that papyrus, on the ring. I told Khepri, and he paled. If the priests find out, we're dead, he said. I didn't care. I needed answers. The answers found me instead. One night, as I copied star charts, a shadow fell across my reed pen. A woman stood there, old, robed in black linen, her eyes like embers. She called herself Merit, a priestess of Sekhmet, but her voice carried weight no temple granted. You've seen it, she said, not a question. I froze, ink dripping. She knew, about the crevice, the ring, everything. Come, she said, and I followed, not because I trusted her, but because I had no choice. Myrrh led me to a house outside Waset, its walls plain but its air thick with incense. Inside were others, men, women, young and old, all wearing pendants shaped like the papyrus's spiral. They were keepers, survivors of a sect thought dead, and Myrrh was their leader. She spoke plainly, the veil was no myth. It was a gate, built by beings who came before the gods, who taught our ancestors to raise stone, to chart the heavens. The ring wasn't theirs to use, only to guard, for it connected worlds, ours and theirs. You woke it, she said, her eyes boring into me. Now it calls. I didn't believe her, not fully, but the hum was in my dreams now, sharp and insistent. Khepri begged me to stop, to burn the papyrus and forget, but I went back to the chamber, alone this time. The ring was brighter, its light pulsing like a heart. I touched it again, and the images returned, clearer now, showing those tall figures building, not just here, but everywhere, their hands shaping stone with light. Then a voice, not sound, but thought, filled my head. Why? I stumbled back, heart racing, and saw it, a crack in the air, beyond the ring, where shadows moved. I ran to Myrrh, told her everything. She wasn't surprised. The balance is shifting, she said. The keepers had kept the gate dormant for millennia, but my touch had stirred it. Others would come, not gods, not men, but those who'd left the gate behind. She showed me their relics, a rod that hummed like the ring, a disc that burned my fingers, all hidden beneath the house. We protect Egypt, she said. Will you? I didn't answer. I was a scribe's daughter, not a warrior. But the hum wouldn't let me go. Days later, Waset changed. The Nile's flood was late, the air heavy with dust. Priests muttered of omens, blaming heretics. I saw them watching me, temple guards, their spears too close. Myrrh warned me to hide, but Khepri was already in trouble. He'd been carving the spiral glyph, secretly, on a stone for me. The priests found it, called it sacrilege. They dragged him to the temple of Amun-Ra, and I followed, slipping through crowds. I heard his screams before I saw him, lashed, bleeding, refusing to name me. I wanted to shout, to save him, but Myrrh's hand stopped me. Not yet, she hissed. That night, I made a choice. I stole into the temple, not for Khepri, he was guarded too well, but for the truth. The priests had a chamber, locked and forbidden, where they kept dangerous relics. Myrrh had told me of it, and I found it, a door of cedar, sealed with wax. I broke it open, my knife trembling, and inside was a hoard, scrolls, amulets, a rod like Myrrh's, pulsing blue. One scroll caught my eye, it named the keepers as traitors, accused them of hiding the sky's fire. But it wasn't finished. Footsteps came, and I fled, clutching the rod. The rod was alive, humming louder than the ring, and when I gripped it, the air sparked. I hid in an alley, but the priests were hunting, someone had seen me. I ran to Myrrh, gave her the rod, and she nodded, grim. They know now, she said. The temple wants the veil for themselves. She sent me to Khepri, to free him before dawn, when they'd offer him to Amun-Ra's wrath. The keepers had a plan, distract the guards, breach the temple. I didn't ask how. I just went. The temple was chaos when I arrived, torches toppling, shouts ringing. Myrrh's people had struck, cloaked figures slipping through shadows, using rods to shatter stone. I found Khepri in a cell, his face swollen but alive. You're mad, he whispered, but he followed. We ran, dodging spears, the hum everywhere now, not just in my head but the ground, the walls. Outside, Waset burned, not fire, but light, blue and sharp, spilling from the cliffs. The veil was open. The priests came then, a mob led by Senusret's high priest, Tahotep, his staff gleaming with stolen relics. Blasphemers, he roared, demanding the veil. Myrrh stood firm, her rod flaring, and the ground shook, splitting between us. The shapes watched, unmoving, as Tahotep lunged. I don't know who struck first, keeper or priest, but the chamber erupted, light against spear, hum against scream. Khepri pulled me back, but I saw Myrrh fall, her rod shattering, her eyes meeting mine. Keep it, she gasped. Then she was gone. We fled, the crevice collapsing, sealing the veil, or so I thought. Khepri and I hid in Waset's slums, blending with beggars, saying nothing. The priests claimed victory, blaming a quake, but the Nile stayed dry, the omens worse. I kept Meret's pendant, the spiral heavy around my neck. Egypt endured, built its temples, its tombs, but I knew the truth, we'd touched something beyond us, and it wasn't finished. Years passed. Khepri married, had sons. I didn't. I watched the stars, waiting. Last night, the hum returned, louder, under Waset's stones. I went to the cliffs, alone, and found it, a new crevice, glowing blue. The spiral in my hand burned, and I heard them, not voices, but thoughts. You kept it. The balance isn't broken yet, but it's bending, and I'm the only keeper left.